everybody, we are back again. This is Old for Gold, and from Irrational Radio, we got Mr. Eric playing Surtook, Mr. Brett playing Arlon, and Mr. John playing Jalaal. They have successfully completed their first major arc and ended the existence, or at least the godly existence, of the night god Lael. I keep wanting to say Lyle. I'm so glad you defeated her, so I don't have to ever say that name again.
Lyle.
They found the after the Turtle Tower troubles, they found the ancient city of Quamar and the temple inside, with the help of the map from the museum that they borrowed. After breaking the map on the door to this temple, they found that there was only a single trap, and it was a pit. But this was a very special pit, and they found that when something was dropped into it, it reappeared dropping again from the ceiling, kind of like if there was a portal placed in between the two places, and then so it just kept falling and falling and falling, and the bridge started breaking into pieces, and it was a mess. With some cleverness, they were able to figure out how to bypass the trap, only losing the leader of the mysterious All Watchers Club. All Watchers cult. Yeah, he was the leader. Yep, that's why when you Arlen spoke with the dead with that mushy part, he said, if you find anything, give some of it to the other members of my cult, because our ancient duty has been fulfilled now. The night god is no longer trapped within the seal. She is now trapped within a parasol. She's been destroyed, and only her godly essence is within the parasol. Other than that, it's just a normal purple parasol. Our good friend Surtook was able to enter the tomb, and using his willpower, he forced her godly essence into the item, an item of his choosing. He picked that up in damn Thur before they left, and no one thought it would be useful. And now it's super useful.
Better than the ladder already.
Right?
Already gotten more.
And it will now be his magical implement whenever he casts
Yep.
spells.
Yep, so that's pretty cool. We will begin with Surtook gently alighting on the Golden Pedestal, the circle of gems. Here, I'll pull it up in the Roll20 here. That golden circle that is now closed, by the way, and he just kind of lands, the parasol open. There is kind of a slight stillness in the air, as there is like kind of the moment after thunder passes, as you guys are staring at him after he rose up from defeating this god.
So
Guys, I think I kicked its ass with a parasol, and he kind of just like gestures at both of you with the parasol.
It is black now. The parasol was once white, or I guess off-white after
baby
some
blue.
Oh, baby blue, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's
It
now
matched his bonnet.
a deep purple. It no longer matches the bonnet. It is now a deep purple, with a raven's head at the bottom of it.
It doesn't match my bonnet anymore.
So you went down, and he gave you a parasol, and now you are alive still?
Right, yeah, no, did kick that god's ass, and he gives you a thumbs up. Like, it's Lal, she was like down there, and the old lady came back and said I had to make a choice about like what to do or what have you, and I did, and then I put it in a parasol, what you see here. And he holds it up again. And now it feels like, kind of, and he like, does some kind of like pseudo fencing maneuvers somewhere between that and
I
waving
think
the wand
Arlen
around.
like flinches pretty heavily when you wave the thing around.
It feels
Careful
right.
what you're
now.
doing with that.
Oh.
I don't. I'm afraid if you break it, maybe the god will come back out. Now hold
No,
on.
I'm pretty sure she's like not a her anymore. it's like just, kind of like converted into power or something. And kind of like looks a little, like furrows his brow a bit and looks down confused. Like, I'm not like really sure. It was a weird experience. It's like,
You have like your little black hand tattoo still, or
and he looked down.
It is gone.
No.
there you go. I told you this would be easy. I said it. You can mark what I said. I'm pretty sure you wrote it down in your nice little chain book there, Arlen. But Jalaal the Magnificent, Face Ripper Extraordinaire, said that this would all be a cakewalk. Wouldn't be a problem. And we got there.
I think we were lucky. And don't count your chickens just yet. He steps forward to Surt, and he pulls out his book, and he places 15 gold pieces in the book and shuts it. An offering to you, Nara Vasir. Please allow me to read this man like I would read a book. And he places his hand on Surt's chest.
Okay.
And
Surt
I want to
covers
just
his
cast
presence.
guidance.
Okay.
And basically, like, is he fucked? Like, does he have a god living in his brain?
No, he is. You can tell. What exactly does guidance do? Before I give you too much information here.
The symbol of your deity appears before you and gestures towards a direction or course of action your deity would have you take, then disappears. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but I feel like it's kind of like a thing he would try to.
Sure.
It's only through gesture, and the communication of the spell is severely limited.
Okay. So, the image of Narvisar, which, what does Narvisar look like? What is the image of this god?
I think the idea is that there is no like discernible, actual, like determined. It's like it's the unknown.
Okay.
Which is sort of what fuels that like knowledge to learn.
So an orb of pulsating dark energy appears. And with tendrils, this is only visible to Arlen. So then with tendrils, it kind of flows down his body and the parasol he's holding. It does not change color, but until it reaches the parasol. And then as it goes over the parasol, it glitters as if it was a cloud of diamonds before ending on the floor and disappearing.
Okay, well, if I am to believe any of whatever that was, you're unchanged. You're just normal old Surt. And he pats you on the shoulder.
I told you I didn't die.
Now that parasol, on the other hand, we got to get rid of that.
What? No. And he like clutches it to his chest and kind of turns away. No, I like it quite a bit. He's quite like striking,
All on his knees from the corner, prying up gems from the ground with an old knife.
You
kind of
find
turns over his shoulder. You know what? He's earned it, right? Like it's kind of like a trophy.
You find that these plates of gold are about a 1/4 inch thick, and so as you're prying them up, they're rolling and bending a little bit. So you can make kind of rolls of gold that are about 1 foot long. They're worth 100 gold each, and you're able to pry up quite a few of them. Like
newspapers in a bag.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, run rope through them.
In total, there is 150 of these 100 gold worth pullings.
How much do they weigh each?
It's a total of 300 pounds of gold.
They're all supported by my one arm.
You find that there are gems too that have been either carved from some massive piece of gem or that have been fused together somehow that make up the multicolored plates and the central eye. Altogether, those pieces of gems are worth about 5,000 gold and weigh 200 pounds in total.
Hey, all right.
In addition, the Eye of Misha is also unbound to the center portion, and you're able to pluck it back up. It is just a giant ruby now.
So
That's all
I have a mechanics question for you.
Sure.
Radiator look like?
If I were
You
to
cleared the carburetor. Sorry.
if I were to cast a spell that would reanimate a dead corpse,
Uh-huh.
and that corpse were in, say, 300 pieces in the next room.
Nope. I'm gonna say you're gonna need a corpse that is like a singular object in some way.
All right. Well, how far back was that lizard killed at? It wasn't far away, was it? We were basically right here.
No, you have one lizard still. You have
Oh, we
one
have a
living
lizard.
lizard. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
we
You
did
healed
have
it.
a s-
Surtook
oh
healed it
my
with magic.
goodness.
He's
Okay,
still
so we're
waiting
good
right
then.
outside this
We're
temple.
good.
Yep.
We can bear the weight.
Well, it generally only held 2 passengers, though.
Right.
So
So
we
Sure,
can't,
but
so we
like,
can't ride it. We're
Right.
gonna have to walk with it, and it can
Lead.
carry all this stuff.
and
we
we
can-
can.
There is one more problem that you have not come to terms with.
food.
No, I mean, you have each 5 days of food, so each of you can feed yourself for 5 days, but turning around, the bridge is still out.
Yeah.
There is a gap that's a 50-foot
yeah.
pit now.
And the pit doesn't fall forever anymore.
No, it does not. It's just a 50-foot pit down.
While I'm trying out all of these gems and valuable goods, I want to keep my eye out for like hidden switches, any
Sure.
pressure plates, something like that.
You don't find any with your cursory, like as you're working, kind of look.
Okay.
I think Sert's gonna go over to one of the. If I remember correctly, there were like torch sconces of some variety.
Yep.
Um,
There are sconces all
gonna get
along
up.
the wall, 5 feet apart.
He's gonna
Okay, cool.
grab one and just like hang on it for a while and like test its sturdiness and how well they're affixed to the walls.
It's the ancient empire's construction. This thing is very well attached to the wall, even through the ages.
You had said that huge chunks of this platform had been taken out too.
Yep,
Right.
you can see what has happened there. It's on the battle map.
Okay, so the platform on our side wasn't damaged.
No, but the other side was.
Okay.
Still made of slate, basically, so it's like really brittle.
Yes, and that section of bridge is just basically hanging in air now. It's not going to take much to crack it off into the pit.
Well, if we break it, we can use it as a ramp down into the pit. It's only 40 feet down, right?
Yes,
And there's
that
probably
but
a lot
that
of rubble down there.
not a whole lot. A lot of stuff disappeared through the as the portal closed.
Not sure we could like build a pile that would be tall enough and sturdy enough to like climb out.
Got this ladder.
What?
Got a really nice ladder.
You do.
10 feet? Is
Yep.
it just 10 feet?
It's a 10-foot ladder.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, maybe it's not a great ladder, but it's a ladder.
It
We can
is.
clear 10 feet like it's no one's business. I paid good money for this non-magical bullshit ladder.
Like
That
if
was really
it
good
did
money.
do what it was supposed to, where it would like stand up on its own, that would be like a really nice thing for us to have had.
Remind me back to damn third that I gotta kill that guy.
Well, you know, we should try and like get him some other way, right? Like sort of con him as he conned us, right? That's more like poetic justice. or
Yeah,
something.
I'll con him. Like, you can say, hey, I want to buy a ladder, and I'll say, nice to see you again, then I'll hit him. The
Right.
con is
Good con.
sneaking through the shadows, kind of like a rogue.
I get it. Yeah. So this like large gap here, then.
What's happened to the rock on the second rock on the far side?
It is
'Cause
still
it didn't end
there.
up getting used.
Yeah, the chain broke.
That's right.
Yep.
We never remove that.
So how much of the chain is hanging down into the?
The
If the
chain
chain
broke in
broke.
half, so there's 25 feet hanging down from the rock. So it's halfway
We might,
down.
if we can get down, if we can just tie a rope off on something and crawl down, then we can walk
Tie off on the
across,
other rock here.
build a pile or use a ladder to get up to the other chain and climb up the chain.
You have rope left?
You have, I kind of did the math. I'm going to give you 100 feet of rope left.
Seems fair.
From
Try to
your
lasso
400.
the rope over? Like, I want to try to lasso it onto the rock, maybe?
That would we could climb down and then try and just like if we had use an equipment thing for
With
grappling
your
hooks or
ladder,
something.
with your ladder and the rubble on the ground, I will allow you to build a makeshift pile up that is 15 feet high so that your ladder will reach the very end of the chain. Looking into the pit, you can determine that you can build at least a 15-foot pile with the rocks in the bottom.
Yeah,
What I'm saying is if I can lasso like the sconce over there, I can just hold this real taut and y'all can climb across, and then I can just like, you know, that's
like swing.
Right. It's that wild guy who got stuck in the forest or something, and he was raised by monkeys, and he like swing around on stuff. I could do one of those.
Barzan.
Oh, Frank of the Forest. That's
Frank
his
of the
name?
Forest. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
It's Ferdinand. It's one of those. I'd like to try it at least. I'd like to try to lasso my rope onto
Okay.
the sky.
Yeah, sure.
like
Go
that
ahead.
plan.
Give me, I'll say dexterity. Yeah, just roll me a dexterity.
Upgraded those.
For the next
Nothing.
3 hours, you're just out there going,
Yeah, it's so you do miss, however. That is a failure.
Maybe this idea
"Ah,
would
keen
Hang on.
eye there. That was a good shot. Nice
Let
throw.
me try that. I might have
Yeah, I'll
better
head
luck.
over to him and I'll turn to Arlen. You remember when I like pushed you out of the way of that giant boulder? Remember that little thing that happened a little while
Nice.
ago? I'm just saying.
You turn and Surtook has it like perfectly
You, like,
lassoed.
just
Yeah.
with my
Hold on, I'm
14
talking here. I got
shit.
By
It's
the
like
way,
handing you the rope.
how are you guys splitting up the 500 pounds of treasure among the three of you?
Yeah. I was gonna say that's gonna be a problem to sort of pass along here, as well. The like getting up the thing.
Well,
and
I
stuff
can
like that.
hold on to it after we get out of here. But if you guys want to take a little bit of it each and then maybe climb
Well,
across,
How much can you like really hold? Is it like
Uh,
I've never like seen you like try and lift something that you weren't like successful with. Yeah, other than that one bar.
let's not talk about that bar. I feel like I could lift a good bit. I can comfortably carry this bag full of all the shit that we found in there. But I don't think this rope would do really well with me and it.
Right, that kind of makes some sense.
Can we just lower down the stuff first? I mean,
That's
we
not
make a
bad
few
plan.
parcels and
Well, I could tie my bag off to the end of the rope and then pull it up when we're done. That could also help me anchor over here
Yeah,
the rope, and y'all are gonna shimmy across.
that could work. Worst case scenario, we just have to like climb down the broken rope and pick up a bag of slightly battered, precious metals.
I feel like I'd rather not have any battering.
Right, I just mean, it'll still be gold. Like we all like
Right.
rolled up all them tiles as it is, so.
Well, I'm gonna hold this in, so y'all shimmy across and see if it works.
Right.
I'm gonna tug on the rope a little bit to see if the sconce is like.
Oh yeah, it's just fine. Yep.
I was hanging on it before. It seemed like fairly sturdy.
All right. I will have the shimmiers roll me dex or strength. Is there a move for this? There might be a better move for this.
Defy
You could
Danger
call
is
it a
like
Defy
your
Danger,
go-to
Yeah.
technically. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
any sort of.
That's a good
I'm gonna
point.
roll you. Yeah, roll me a defy danger, then for shimmying.
Shimmy, shimmy,
I
shimmy.
shimmy with the best of them.
Mm-hmm.
People generally do.
A
Big
9.
shimmy.
Oh, I forgot
That's a
the
shimmy.
real dice.
You said a 9.
Whatever. I don't have them
Yep.
available. That's a 6.
That is a failure.
That's an experience point.
All
And
right.
Probably an ouchie.
Yes.
I do create a worse outcome. You give me a choice or whatever.
All right. Well, we'll have this. So as you guys are crossing, Surtook kind of wiggles the rope, so much in his like monkeying back and forth that you both like lose some of your grip. So Surtook loses his grip completely. Arlen, your choice is you can fall or Surtook can fall. You can either have his fail stand or substitute your success for his.
Okay. Arlen will allow Cert to fall.
Okay.
It's gonna put out his parasol, hoping for the best. Is he like, oh shit?
All right,
That's how you release the demon.
It's 50 feet down.
This is actually where not opening umbrellas in homes or in buildings comes from. It's because of this time, this moment.
Every time you do it, it unleashes an old god.
Yep.
Every damn time.
What's your health, Surtook?
20?
Okay. All
I
right.
have like 1 armor, I think. Yeah, 1 armor.
All right. So, Surtook, you fall 50 feet and land on some jagged pieces of bridge.
Oh,
You take 17 damage in total from the fall.
Nice.
Good thing that, you fell, because that would have killed me.
I would have been really upset if I got through the whole fight with the death god to die in another pit as he's like still holding the parasol like straight up from his like flattened body.
Sitting on the ground, ass broke.
Yeah.
You were right down there. You
Ow.
live, like alive. I want to hear no like, oh, I didn't die this time bullshit.
Arlen,
I mean,
you're
I
safely
didn't.
across.
What's that?
You're safely across.
Hurry up and get over here so I can heal you.
Ow. I think he's gonna like try and recall his whatever mental state he was in when he healed the Hyatt lizard and gesture with the Surtook death count. Hey, I have not died. Kinda almost once. It doesn't count though. Gestures with the parasol and then like taps it to his chest. And hopefully casts cure.
Yep.
Cured Majazzles.
Cure some
Let's see if I
Majazzles.
can successfully
Holds a lot of
cast the
weight.
spell.
Roll
Yeah,
a
it's important.
7. There you go.
Alright.
Yep.
I will.
It really matter if
sure
you
that I want
distance
to draw.
yourself
Yeah, I mean, it's the -1 ongoing until my next commune still, but I will have the spell revoke
Okay.
after I cast it,
So
since I don't want to risk drawing unwelcome attention with 3 health.
So you whip the umbrella, and there is a spurt of this purple energy that slowly settles over your body and heals you. So go ahead and roll that healing. But
It's a D4, right? Sorry, I don't have the actual text of the spell built in here apparently, because I'm a fool.
all right.
I'm sorry, I'm trying
That's
to pull
okay.
it up on the list. JD, do you have it on your list still, by any chance?
What am I doing?
The text for cure it's a D4, right?
It is a D8.
D8.
Nice.
My goodness. All right. Three. Well, you know.
All right. Yeah. So there is the energy settles over you, and then there's like a little bit of smoke comes out of the end of the umbrella.
Oh. That's a little better. And he coughs up some blood and sort of staggers to his feet, I think.
Oh, so you're alive. That's good.
Not dead. No, not quite. And like, yeah, just wheezes awfully like you do when you get your air back, probably.
I tried to reach for you, but you were too far behind me.
Just looks at you, like narrows his eyes and stares at you.
Look, I'm not the one who shook it.
All you see is
This
the
was
whites
your
of it.
fault.
Black. All right, well, hold on. I'm coming down there. Give me a minute. And he's gonna tie. He doesn't need to tie it off at the end. He's gonna like loop his bag over his arm.
Okay.
And kind of jump down.
All right.
Hold the
Roll me a defy danger.
Seems so dangerous.
Mhm.
So good at defying nature. 11.
All right.
Nice.
hey.
Yeah, you superhero landing on the bottom. Just
Swing past him and grab his hand as I go through.
You like swing by and like right as you hit the ground level, you like stop off and roll into the 3-point land.
Yep.
Like, oh my goodness. That was impressive.
I after all those broken bones from the big rock got healed, I feel like a lot more spry.
I feel like you're building up an immunity to pits.
Maybe like
Just-
rock-esque surfaces, something around there. Yeah. All right, well,
Gravity.
come on, start climbing. I'll climb up after you. Make sure you don't fall.
He God, yeah, all right. I guess.
Can I aid him
He's
at all?
open.
Can I hold the rope really taut so it's easy for him to climb?
there
up?
is a move called aid or interfere. So go ahead and roll me that if you'd like to aid him.
Is it just a straight roll, or does it add anything?
I believe it's just a straight roll. Yes.
I would also like to try and aid him if I can. He feels
Okay.
really bad.
Oh my god, if you guys both
About what?
fail, I'm gonna be so upset.
Yep. So no, Jalaal succeeded. So you can take a 1 or a 2.
No, +1 or a -2.
Right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. +1 or a -2 of your choice. I assume you're going to give him a +1.
Your call though.
I will. I will give him a +1, and I will
Safe.
expose myself to danger.
Okay.
I don't want to lose anything, so cost is not fucking happen.
Okay, sure. So as you are holding the rope, as he's climbing up, right? You guys are at the bottom of the pit and he's climbing back out of it. He knocks some material that had been on the edge of the wall a little bit and knocks it down on top of you. Roll me a defined danger to get out of the way of it. Yep. So you just sidestep all the rocks and they fall. Surtook, you are now on the top of the ledge.
Can you be careful, please?
What?
Never mind. And he'll
Are you gonna climb up or?
all right, keep it down up there. He's going to hoist and make sure that the bag is secure on his shoulder,
Yep.
and try to climb up.
All right, roll me another defined danger.
7.
All right. So worst outcome, hard bargain, or early choice. 2/3 of the way up, so you are about 35 feet up. You feel the bag is ripping. The weight of the material is too much. You may either use your great strength to huck the treasure up out of the pit, sacrificing yourself, you'll fall, or you can let the treasure fall and then keep yourself on the rope.
I'm gonna huck the treasure.
All right. So with you feel the yourself kind of hesitate and slip, and so you chuck the treasure up. Yeah, you guys see big bag go 500 pounds of metal just land right next to you.
Magic.
And
What
Surtook,
you just did.
you fall 35 feet. Or sorry, Jalaal, you fall 35 feet.
Yeah, I won't survive that. Please don't.
I'm not sure Jalaal will survive it.
He's got
I'm
better
alright.
chance, hopefully.
Unless Kyron's a god like he normally is and rolls like a 20.
I rolled a 15.
Hey, does my armor take off any damage?
Yes, it does. I'll allow your armor to take off damage. Yep. It's just bludgeoning. So
You basically hear a sound from the bottom of the pit. I understand now. I get it.
Are you good?
Most
Like thumbs up from like over the lip in the pit.
I'm gonna wrap my arm around the rope. Can you pull me up, please?
Probably not. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Arlon does his best.
all right, yeah.
Good luck. Help.
Uh,
And luck, maybe, but
Yeah, go ahead. Roll me.
I'm gonna take a sip of my healing potion first. I have one remaining healing potion.
Okay. All right. I believe that is a D4.
that's probably what I was thinking of. I need
Is it
to
a
get the
D4?
text copy.
I think it was 10, wasn't it? Just 10
What's
straight.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me look
That's
it up.
nice.
I don't remember because I'm stupid and didn't write it down.
All right. Feel ya on that. his mood, as it were.
The kids call that mood.
That's
A
what
big
I hear.
mood.
It's a sizable mood.
A relatively voluminous mood.
It's mood-esque. Yeah, so when you drink an entire healing potion, heal yourself of 10 damage.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So you heal yourself for 10 damage there.
I don't have healing potions anymore.
You feel some ribs pop back into place there.
Healing
my God,
potions
are
are
you magic?
amazing.
That would have been a good investment.
He,
So it
he-
took
as,
like
a,
9.
as a chaser, he'll take a little swig of the Infinite X Goblin Mead whiskey.
Sure, yep.
Wonderful.
Oh, sir, you gotta try this. Put some air in your chest. Oh,
Knocks down, like, I mean, it's not like especially lacking. I'm not sure.
Will allow you and Surtook and Arlon to pull you up without having to make any rolls. You have bounced around quite a bit in the pit, so
he is limp, basically getting pulled up. But he has wrapped it around his arm to make sure he does not fall.
so you drag
So
him
I
up
think that
over the
we-
lip.
It's a good thing we did the whole tightrope thing, right?
I mean,
Went well for everybody.
it was going well, like, for a bit.
Some kind of worked, I guess. Oh,
Ow.
I think I broke my ribs twice today. That's a new record. Never had that happen before. Look at y'all.
Really?
Y'all are getting stronger every day.
I
Especially
really
you,
thought
Arlen.
the like interaction
that was mostly
with the old
said.
Death God was going to be the worst part of today.
I feel like
It
we
was
should probably start worshiping this pit. It's doing a lot more than
not. Right, maybe like pits in general, as like the other one is the most lethal threat we've faced as well.
yeah. Both pits have killed a guy. I don't know.
While
Important
they're
people too.
talking, I'm circling around them with bandages, trying to bandage them up.
Okay.
I probably have a massive concussion, like bleeding from the side of the head. Surt's
I'd like-
arms all limp.
I'd like to use 2 uses of the bandage,
Okay.
1 on each. It's 4 damage to each of them.
All right.
And
Shoot,
then
they take
Surt
4
is
damage.
in-
Yep. It's really bad bandages. No,
That's
you
spike
heal for
bandage.
4. Yeah.
Too
Heals-
tight.
Just around your neck, real tight.
They're trying to shut us up more than anything else.
And then with Surt, because he feels bad about what happened with Surt. And,
You've let him fall, man. He could have died.
I would.
Yeah, you
100%
would have died.
I thought, oh, he hasn't taken much damage this adventure yet, so I'm gonna let him sponge a little bit. I didn't think 17 damage was gonna be the result. but-
died
That's
earlier.
50 feet. That's a long way to fall.
Yeah. Oof. So, I roll a 9 unless plus 3. Is it? No, intelligence plus. So, I roll a 9. So I
Okay.
do get to choose a thing, and I think I'm just going to lock myself out of this for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So I no longer have access to heal wounds, but I get to do a Healy Boy spell thing,
Nice.
which is a D8, and then I also think I add my level to it. So add 4. Where are you, D8? 6 plus 4 is 10.
Nice.
Woo!
Math.
All right. Well, that was the wells run dry, my friends.
Well, there should be like oases if we head north for a bit.
I mean, all we have to do is spend the night somewhere, and I should be able. I meant that I can't do any more like healing things at you
That makes
for the
sense.
remainder of the day.
I was thinking like a water situation as we are in the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah,
Kind of
that's
gestures.
You
Well, I
guys,
guess actually we're still like in a
Yep.
temple. But that's like a reasonable concern as well. I will try not to fall in any more large pits.
Well, do we want to take a
Well, I
look
think
around
we're good
the city
now.
first? We might want to stay here overnight or overday until it's safe to travel again.
We could see what there is else maybe that like we could, make it carry back. I would like to see if we can't get that map key map back
Yeah, the
from
cap.
the door. Get
We don't have
yes.
the map to get us out of the city as we had it to get in the city.
That's fair as well. Right. I mean, but mostly like it
We're
was the
gonna
glowy
wander
bits
around in the
that
city
helped.
for like a day and a half trying to find a way out.
Well, maybe we can find like an old inn that has booze that hasn't expired. Might be a good idea. Might have beds that aren't turned to stone.
That would be, wait, is like that a concern? Have things been turned to stone?
I don't know how aging works.
We shouldn't stay here too long.
I expect every day to wake up to Arlen being turned to
this
stone. So.
this bed must be 3,000 years old. It's been petrified.
You guys,
Yeah, it's encased in amber.
The latest stage of bed maturity.
as you guys leave the temple, you see your high lizard impatiently waiting. As you come out, and it's gives
Hello.
Surtook a big lick.
I didn't die. And he'll like give him like face rubs.
It is day, so the sun is very hot. Looking around, you can see that it's catching some of the glass buildings that have been turning to stone. It does look like the city has been rotting, and crystal has been slowly turning back into the deep red rock that is common in the desert. And it is a maze still. You can see these spires are tilted this way and that way, spreading out about a area of about 5 miles. It looks like a forest made of massive stone trees whose tops are made of dark black glass. You can see some of your path, but most of it has been worn away by the wind. There does seem to be like a little bit of wind picking up, but it is not sandstorm levels. It is just windy enough to shift the surface of the sand around a little bit.
Right, let's see if we can get this our rented map out of the door here.
That's a good idea.
Because otherwise that lady who is quite severe will be upset with us. I think.
She was severe, wasn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I think back to her, I think of words to describe her. And I think the only one that comes to mind is severe.
You are able to pop the 2 pieces out from the 2 sides of the door with relative ease, though the crystal is now opaque and cloudy rather than the clear piece of material it used to be. And it, of course, is in 2 pieces.
That's fine.
Was it a clean break?
No, it does look like is if you ripped apart a crystal, so you can see just jagged edges going all the way down.
Well, hopefully saving the world was enough to lose this relic.
Maybe if we like, I don't know, some like animal fat and something, like spit or something, we could get it to like stick back together, and she might not.
Haven't you ever
notice.
seen the Antiques Roadshow? Once you start repairing things, they lose their value.
Did you say spit and animal fat?
I'm not sure what the proper like process for making glue is. All right.
I believe it's boiling down bones to a paste.
I thought it was
Sure.
like Hyatt lizard feet. And he looks to the Hyatt lizard and
Leave his feet alone.
Oh, did you leave Sandy back in town? I haven't seen her.
Yes.
Oh,
Apparently.
all right. I just wanted to make
I
sure you
would
didn't
not bring
forget
her
entirely
across the
about it.
razor fields. That with my pet, that would be irresponsible. Left him with the all watchers, I guess.
There you go.
Clearly
Yeah.
didn't forget about Sandy.
No.
At
no,
all. That's not
no.
what happened.
Yeah.
She's been with him every day of his life. A friend like
She's
that
kinda
you can't
like,
forget.
She's like a migratory bird. She sort of like comes and goes.
Right. I've had women like that before too. Same way. Always tell me a smell of alcohol. Anyway,
So are
speaking
we
of,
going to try and get through this maze today, or are we going to wait until nightfall?
I say we wait till
Um,
nightfall.
I guess.
I'm afraid of getting stuck out there and getting cooked by, the glare of the sun off of these obsidian towers. I
Yeah.
think maybe staying inside for the day.
Can
is
we
maybe
try
the
to
way go.
find like an old inn or maybe like the palace. You think they had a palace?
I might try and like poke around a little bit, but I mean, you know, I'm quite good at not getting lost. He
Looking at
looks
the
around
sun.
at all of you, like judgy, I guess, probably.
Looking at the sun, what does it look like time-wise?
It is mid-afternoon, so it doesn't have very
We don't have
long.
much time.
Right.
Okay. Well, if we're going to set off right at sunset, then you best get some sleep in soon. That's what I'm
makes
going to
sense.
do.
Goes back into temple.
I'm gonna poke around a little bit here, just like in the immediate area, see if there's anything else especially shiny and portable that we might be able to profit from.
Well, I guess I got to protect this old bag of bones. So just
I'll
yell
try
at me if
not-
you need anything.
Yeah, if like I fall in a pit or something, well, I'll shout real loud.
We
Nice.
kind of learned that I'm not really good around pits, but I'm thinking like anything punchable, like a punchable surface, perhaps that comes into your focus view,
Nice.
or potentially a beast and or creature with a face for me to hit.
And or rip off. And he
All
gives
right,
you a thumbs
all
up
right.
and like
I
walks
get
away.
it. I get it.
Jalaal,
Right.
Arlen steps into the doorway of the thing, and he's got his shoes off, and his robe is
Wow.
basically just like draped over his shoulders like a bathrobe would be.
Really made yourself at home, didn't you?
Do you want any tea? I'm cooking tea.
No, I don't want tea. I'm never gonna want tea.
All right, suit yourself.
But I guess I do owe you at least one sermon. So get to talking.
Begrudgingly turn around and walk back in after.
This is a good day. Well, come inside.
He just looks back to Surt with like pleading eyes.
Sucker. Yeah, so it's like already probably scampering off.
Okay.
All like mummy bandaged up.
So wandering around, and I assume you're going to keep kind of the temple in your sights.
Yeah, he's not gonna go far. It's
Sure.
just kind of get a feel for what's in the immediate vicinity, and yeah, if there is anything that's especially rich looking that seems like he could just carry off.
You don't find anything that seems rich looking, but as you get to the edge of like kind of your search area, further off among these titanic towers of rocks, you see a large shape moving between them. It is very big, probably about the size of a like tavern or inn or something like that, large building that's slowly moving between the towers, maybe a quarter of a mile away. It's moving perpendicular to you, not towards or away from you.
Oh boy. Not able to get much in the way of like detail on it. It seems though, mostly just big hole.
Yeah, you can. It's just a big moving object. Yeah,
Without getting any closer. Anyway.
right. Yeah, without losing sight of your temple.
Sure. Okay. I think he'll kind of keep an eye on it while it's moving around for a little bit.
Okay.
To sort of see what it seems like it's doing, if he can discern such things from its movement.
It doesn't look like it's diving. It's not going into the sand. It's staying on top, and it's moving around almost like a giant stone, going.
Pioneers used to ride these babies. Sorry. Insert. Let's see here. Do some sort of brain check to see if he knows what this seems like.
Yeah.
Or if this is familiar to him.
Go ahead and
The classic
discern
brain check.
reality. Discern reality.
reality.
Yes.
Ooh,
Nice.
9. Or
So
well,
11 in total.
roll,
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah,
So 3
12
questions from the list
altogether.
below there.
Um.
And some of those I will adjust to fit the situation.
Okay. Would that be more effective as a spout lore, where you get to tell me something
Yeah, probably.
It
I
would be
thought
a
discern
10.
realities would be, yeah, so 10 would be fine. Yeah, so you
and
just,
then you
that's
can tell
still
me something of interest from it. I guess,
right.
is
Yeah,
something
3. You still get to take 3 answers though.
Okay.
With a 10 on the spout lore, I believe.
I don't think so. I think it's just the one. I could be crazy. Let me see here. Something. Yeah, 10 plus is GM will tell you something interesting and useful about the subject relevant to your
Okay.
situation.
It is most likely a wild pterygour. The large turtles that surf along the tops of the sand. Though, for one to be out this far in the remote wastes, it's either starving, sick, or injured or weird in some way. There is not a lot of food out here for wild pterygour. They're basically giant tortoises that surf along the tops of the sand.
Okay. Yeah, I think he'll probably spend maybe half hour or something keeping an eye on it. If it doesn't seem like it's doing anything dangerous or aggressive, he'll just head back.
Okay.
So he
Please,
can
God,
go.
tame it. Please, God.
All right, so you get back at the very end of Arlen's sermon.
Jalal,
I
we've
mean,
been
yeah,
talking about. This doesn't count. I want you to know that this does not count.
Listen, I remember you said that glory eterna, always follow your neighbor's oxen. Don't covet um daily bread.
Perfect.
You know, I'm paraphrasing. You told me a lot.
Daily bread.
Truer words have never been spoken.
All right. It'll
Well,
hit me so hard. You see, and he tried. I would like to try to fake cry as hard as I can.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever
That's
check that
charisma.
is, I hope you fail
Yeah.
very
My
horribly. 'Cause
charisma, I have
that's
a
way
-1.
funnier.
Yep, go for
Yes.
it. Yep. Yeah, all right. So yeah, it's pretty convincing, but it's
He's
not.
like squinting really hard, and you see one
Yeah,
little tear start down
one
his-
tear come. Yep, just
You see, I'm really touched by what you said.
Arlen reaches out and just slaps the shit out of you.
Now he has another tear, but a real one down the other. All right, fine.
I just wasted my night telling you a sermon to a deaf man. You slept through it, and
I slipped
in the
through.
future, if you need somebody to talk to or anybody to try and suss through things in your life, I will not be here to lend you an ear, as you were not here to lend me yours.
I assume you'll.
Good
be
night, Jalal.
literally.
And
Wait, you're not. Oh, I don't think you're going anywhere. We're kind of like
He rolls
partners.
over with gusto.
Yep, that's it.
Puts his robe over his face. Oh, hey, sir.
Hi.
Yeah, it went really well. I learned
Seems
a lot
like.
about Nara his goddess, or god, or what, whichever one. I really I feel enlightened a little bit. Next time I think you should get a little lesson from Arlen here. I think he's
the
got
little like piece of like maybe like long stone that he uses to stir his tea comes winging at you from the other edge of the camp.
Surtook
How's a
second.
6 on Defy Danger?
Not good enough.
that it hits you. It does a single point of damage past your armor.
I'm sorry. All right, I get it. My bad.
Oh, I should
Got
start
him
just
right in the
throwing
eye.
those at people. Damn.
You gave me a
Solid.
free XP though.
Solid.
All right.
Yeah, there was like a very large turtle out there. Like
Big, like large, big.
building, yeah, they're called pterygours. I think it's like sick or something if it's out here. Usually there isn't like a bunch of wildlife out in the wastes here.
You don't think we could like ride it back, do you?
I mean, he kind of sits down and like kind of looks off, and probably there's the thought bubble of him like yeehawing on the bike.
Cowboy hat and parasol,
Like,
baby
you
blue
know.
cowboy hat.
Oh, he says that might be the best idea I've ever heard.
I'm
Just not.
I'm just constantly throwing them out there. You know, like I might as well be a sick man because I'm throwing out a whole bunch of good ideas. Well, throw it up. I got a good idea a lot of times.
Right.
Well, aren't you like good with animals?
I mean, like relatively speaking, I'm not bad with them. More like, you know, skinning them and whatnot. But
Well, you had Sandy for a long time. You still have Sandy. You know, you
Sure.
left her in good hands, but you know, you seem like you have a connection.
I mean, you know, generally speaking, I know my way around like a beast, I suppose. But like, I'm not sure that like taming wild animals is. He shrugs and says, "Well, I mean, maybe. Who knows? I could give it a shot."
Well, that'd make a lot of our travel a little easier.
Yeah. Do I like lasso it? Is that how it goes? He just looks over
Well-
at you and like kind of grabs up the rope a little, like.
I mean,
getting
you
ready.
are good at it. To be fair,
Right, yeah.
than me.
And then I mean like, you know, just like wrangle it up and like get on its back, or just like what? I mean, how do we
well,
make
I'm
sure
thinking
it
more
goes?
like a Fred of the Frangle or whatever we were talking about earlier. Like you walk up to it, y'all nice, and then you like
Oh,
pat it on the snoot, like this area right here.
right, it might eat me. It's like the size of a tavern.
Well, that's the price I'm willing to pay for a
I
turtle.
mean, right. This may need to be revisited.
Right.
He's gonna kind of like lay down and get ready to go to sleep, I think.
All right, I got a little sleep, so I'll keep first watch. But I'm gonna wake Arlen next, so you can take last.
Gives you like a thumbs up and a wink, and then like rolls over and goes to sleep.
And Jalal will be taking very tiny sips of his infinity
right.
alcohol. Not enough to get drunk because he wants to keep alert on watch, but
Right.
he wants to enjoy it.
All right. Well, I am going to give you guys this rest without having you roll anything, as you're safely in the ruins of this temple. I will say, Jalaal, that you do see the Terragar while they're sleeping. It comes into the valley that is kind of in front of this temple area. You see that it is indeed a very large tortoise-like monster. The shell is craggy and has some like spots where it's jutting out like broken stone. You also see that it is wounded. Along its side, it has a very large gash right underneath the shell. It is kind of oozing blood along the sand as it slowly makes its way across the plain in front of you. It takes maybe 20 minutes for it to cross at, you know, a pretty good clip, but it does, using its giant flippers to slide itself along the ground.
Okay. Jalal is going to shake Arlen awake as it's passing.
Okay.
Mm,
Arlen, wake up! Wake up!
what?
There's a giant tortoise outside that Zerg was talking about. It looks
Great.
like it could. Well, I've heard that people use these as like carriages through the desert. But it looks
Yeah.
wounded. Do you think you can help it?
Not until tomorrow morning.
Fuck.
Till night. Whatever.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Oh, whatever.
Do you have any like herbal herbal remedies?
You want me to come up with an herbal remedy for something the size of a tab?
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we helped
do you
it, it
have
might
five?
hurt it.
Do you have 5 bushels of tarragon
Ooh.
and 400 pounds of bone paste?
Well, no, I really don't think so. But
Okay, well, then I probably can't help him with a poultice.
well, maybe we could do something, right? Like, you think if I used like he'll bring out the silk, the writing silk. You think if I put this over the wound, maybe he would stop his bleeding, maybe help him out?
The wound is about 6 feet long.
He sits up and he rubs his eyes and he turns to you and he looks at the silk that you're like holding in your hands, and then he goes, "You see the side of that building over there?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so I want you to tell me how you are going to take that and wrap it around that building."
Well, I'm thinking like, what if I just applied it and it stuck to the blood, right?
It's a good thing I'm healing the group and not you.
You hear the terror gargle off in the distance as it moves through the valley.
Something happens. Watch my back. I'm gonna try something.
No.
Jalaal the silk and throws it over his shoulder and takes his bottle of alcohol, and he starts walking towards the Terragar.
Okay. Arlon, what do you want to do in this moment?
I think he's gonna get up.
Okay. Surtook is sleeping a few feet away from you.
Surtook needs his rest.
How long has it been since Surt went to sleep?
Only a few hours, maybe 3 or 4.
And my bond with Jalaal is literally, he's in constant danger. I'll keep them safe.
All right. So what are you going to
It's the
do
same
then,
for
Arlon?
both of you.
What now? I'm sorry.
So he's marching down the valley towards
Yes.
this thing. What are you doing?
Okay. I am looking to see at what point I commune with my god.
It has not been long enough.
I mean, it's just uninterrupted time, an hour or so in quiet communion with your deity.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I'll
all it
give
is.
it to you. I'll give it to you.
I love it.
He also
Wait.
gave me an hour-long sermon as well.
Right. So
Jalaal,
What?
I didn't want to waste a spell on a dying giant turtle, but
Maybe
if
it
you're
can
going to
be-
go out there and get yourself killed, then I suppose I don't have a choice. He takes his hands and rubs them together and says, "Come with me in case it tries to eat me."
You stay behind me. We'll walk toward it slowly. My dad and I used to go hunting, and I know how to kind of act around skittish animals.
You see
Okay,
behind its body is making a shallow ditch in the hard-packed sand. As you guys get closer to it, it turns slowly and eyes you suspiciously. There
I
is
want to
another.
hold my arms up.
The thing's head is about the size of a bathtub in volume, with a large beak below it, just like a snapping turtle. As you reach out your hand, you see the thing go. The snaps echoing across the valley. It does not strike at you. It is just snapping its beak in a threatening manner towards you.
Would I know if it would eat travel rations?
No. Well, okay. Roll me a spout lore to see what you know about this thing.
10.
Okay. No, this is a herbivore. It eats desert plants and large root systems that it finds in the very tops of the ground. It's kind of a filter feeder where it scoops large amounts of sand into its body and then digests whatever it can and then exits, poops out the sand out the back end.
Arlen, give me some of your tea herbs.
These are expensive herbs.
Come on. It might be worth it. I'll pay you
Takes
back
a
when we get
bag
back to town.
off of his hip, and he just puts it in your palm.
You hear the beast go and starts slowly sliding towards you guys with what looks like a smile.
Aw.
It has a beak.
Yeah,
I love him. I'm going to get like a makeshift bowl that I would use for our food, like if we make stew or something. And I'll pour like a fist size or a good enough bit into the bowl, and I'll offer the bowl over to him, like down a little bit so he can see what's inside.
Right.
Maybe, like tongue it out.
It looks down and then it opens its beak and a massive round or more like a tube of a tongue comes out and slowly wraps around the bowl and then pulls it into the beak. Oh.
No, I brought that with me. That's it. I brought that from home. All right.
It starts pushing you with its head.
I want to try to pet him.
It doesn't seem to respond to the petting. It really wants more of whatever the hell you just gave it. And so it's kind of acting like a cat or a large dog that really wants treats and has no...
Arlon pulls out the bag and shakes it out. It's empty now, but it should still smell of the herbs.
The thing scoops up the sand underneath where you sprinkled the bag out and swallows like a bathtub's worth of sand. Like 8,
He
9
puts
gallons
his hand
of sand.
on the turtle's beak and will cast Cure Light Wounds.
Okay.
And I'll keep petting him to keep him calm.
10.
Nice.
Hey, yo.
So I heal 8 plus 4, so 12.
12 damage.
Let's go.
The turtle kind of makes a deep purring sound in its body, but the wound does not seem to close very much. This thing has a ton of health, and
He does it again.
Okay.
5 plus 2 is 7, so it's a partial success.
Okay.
Let me look at what the... I don't really want to lose it yet. I'm
Right.
going to take the -1.
Okay. Moving forward. So go ahead and mark that on your sheet.
Yep. And that's 9.
9 more points. Okay. You have healed it about a fourth of the way.
Can he like localize the healing to close the wound so it stops bleeding?
He's basically done that. It is not it's not bleeding anymore, but it is still a giant scab now.
He is going to give it 1 more.
Okay. You take a -1.
So it's 9 minus 1 is 8 plus 2 is 10.
Okay.
That one only heals 5.
All right. So it's looking much better, but it has not healed completely. Not by you got about maybe a third of it healed. But the turtle is very happy.
He tries to climb up onto its shell.
All right.
Like he begins the process to see how it reacts.
Very poorly. It moves away, like moves its body away, pretty fast for something that big, and snaps at you.
All right, come on now. We're here to help, but we need your help in return. Come on.
I don't think he can understand you.
I want I want to pour a little alcohol in a cup.
Okay.
The universal language. Booze.
I mean, this is what Jalaal knows. This is how he's
Right.
made all of
Of
his,
course.
including you guys. He probably like met you guys in a tavern. And he'll offer the cup with a little bit of the infinity booze to the turtle.
It takes a sniff and goes, and almost like retracts its head a little bit into the shell.
Looks around a bit, shrugs, takes the drink. All right. Well, I don't
The
really,
turtle turns and begins to move off away from you guys.
Hey, come on. Oh,
He's a bit of a tea turtler. You like that?
Jalaal just
Joke,
tilts
huh?
his head and stares at you. Come on, take this seriously. He might move away. What do we do?
Well, I'm not going to be able to heal him entirely. I'll lose access to my spells by the time we get there.
You did enough, Arlen.
And even
I
if we
appreciate
do
it.
that, there's no saying that he's not domesticated. He's not trained. He wasn't grown up under the conditions of being ridden like a sled. We don't have the time to train a turtle how to go places. I've never broken a turtle before.
I have an idea. I have another great idea. You're gonna love this one. All right,
I
so
don't believe you.
what if we?
I'm going to go wake up Sir.
Okay.
All right, Jalal's gonna start fastening together with one of the poles that they had from the first dungeon.
Sure. I'll let you have.
And
I'll
he's
let you have
going
2 of
to-
those.
Oh, perfect. He's gonna use one of those, and he's going to tie the rope around the end and he's going to fasten the empty bag onto the bottom of it.
Okay.
So it's basically like a
Like-
fishing rod with
with
the
a-
bag
Yep.
of empty herbs.
Sure.
Yeah, I think
Good
this will fit.
Arlen, you get up to the temple at the same time Jalaal finishes his lure.
I'm Surt.
What?
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Huh?
Jalal's out there poking a turtle. He's
Why?
going to get himself eaten.
Oh, he's trying to make it. We talked about it. I wasn't 100% sure it wasn't a dream for a second there.
Yeah,
I want to be a turtle cowboy. He kind of says groggily with a bit of a nod as he's like sitting
right.
up
So
and
let's
like
go.
rubbing
Let's
his eyes.
go. Like grabbing you under the arm and trying to like. F you
Oh,
up to your
okay,
feet.
fine. Yeah, stands up.
All right, Jalaal, what are you doing with your new lure?
I want to shake it in like where the turtle's going off. Like
Okay.
to get the smell going.
You're gonna have to. You run up a little bit as it's moved away, more quick than it moved into the valley, as it's feeling a lot better. You shake the bag in front of its face as you get up to it, and you have to like get halfway up the creature in order for your 10-foot pole to reach its face. That's how big this thing is. And it does seem to react. It turns toward the bag and starts slowly sliding in this direction as you shake the bag in front of its head. It does try to bite it, so go ahead and roll me a dexterity check to make sure that it doesn't just bite the end of your stick off.
11.
11. Yeah,
11.
that's fine. Yeah, you just nope.
Never let a snapping turtle get close to your stick. That's
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do
Word
that.
to lie. Oh god.
Wow. All right.
He's gonna, as he's doing that, try to climb up on him.
As you put weight on it, it forgets all about the bag and turns towards you and goes and moves away.
Jump off.
Okay.
He'll
It
slowly
turns to
start leading
face
the turtle
you.
back.
It turns to face you now, and it's growling slightly.
He'll put his arms up again and back away slowly.
Okay. You guys see this from the top of the hill where the temple is.
He's just standing with his hands on his hips, like shaking his head periodically as he watches. That's about it.
He'll turn his head up and see him. Help me! Help! Someone help!
Hey, you made this bed.
And he'll shake the bag again.
The turtle slowly turns to the bag and kind of regards it for a moment and then goes, and then turns back towards you and goes,
I'm sorry, all right? Come on. Be civil.
It
Sir.
slowly starts
What?
sliding towards you, still growling.
All right, I'll see what I can do. He shrugs and he'll make his way over there.
Okay. The turtle growls a little bit deeper, but backs off as you guys get closer. It is, it's acting like a scared wild animal right now.
I'm pretty sure he's not gonna be, or she, he shrugs, that large animal is not going to be incredibly excited about the idea of being ridden. Like, I'm super stoked about the concept, don't get me wrong, but like, he might not be, right? He shrugs.
Right. Maybe you could drag us?
I mean, but we don't really know, like, where it's gonna go.
Might just drag us in a circle around the city.
The turtle
be unfortunate.
like goes again and then turns to move out of the valley.
Bye-bye, turtle. Best of luck with your future ventures. Call him after him.
Arlen goes over to Jalal and
And his head's down. His
Kinda-
shoulders slumped.
puts,
Your
puts
pole is
Jalal's
just
head
here.
on my shoulder and pats you on the back of the head.
I
It's
just
all right,
wanted a
Jalal.
turtle.
There's plenty of turtles in the desert.
Jalaal just shakes his head on your shoulder. Well, thanks for trying.
Now, I'm going to go back to sleep.
All right.
I mean, we should look into that though. Maybe we could find like an egg, right, and raise it from little to be comfortable with the idea of being ridden around. Like, cause this whole like turtle cowboy bit, like, real cool. He's like
Yeah.
nodding.
Just Jalaal gets a little happier. Yeah,
Growing
I
up, I always wanted to be a turtle pirate. You just ride turtles around the desert. And you
Yep. There are clans of orcs and outlaws that do that. They either steal or raise a Terragar mount, basically, and they have a whole tribe live on its back. Just,
wait,
That
I want to
is
be one of
so
those
exciting.
now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I didn't know about that, and I want to be that.
I want to go to there.
All right. Well, you guys are. I'm gonna finish your rest, and we will take our break. So when we come back, they will have finished their rest and begin their journey into the desert. So thank you, everybody who is watching, and stay tuned. We've got another lovely break video for you, and we will be back in about 15 minutes after the break. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Without delving too deeply into this philosophical alignment debate,
Right.
which is a big deal, I think the main thing is alignment is the word that we use sort of to describe your party's intent, I suppose. My campaign, I didn't allow for evil alignments because it's a heroic setting. The whole thing is that I want all of my players' characters to be on the same page as far as what their overall goals are, and that being to do good. If you have a campaign setting where it's the opposite, that's fine, but it's not going to work if your campaign setting is an evil setting and your goal is to do nefarious things, and you have a lawful good paladin on your party.
Exactly.
It's not going to work. The whole point of the alignment system, for what I'm talking about in setting up a party, is to have everyone on the same page. Not to delve deeply into the philosophy of
Right.
every alignment and every character. It's just to keep everybody on the same page.
You're picking teams in the cosmic struggle,
Yeah.
for the universe or whatever. It doesn't, it's as much a faction as it is or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
in older editions of D&D, that was exactly how it was like formulated, basically. And I think it's most effective. The 9-box system is most effective when used like that. But I think that there is, as someone who grew up playing D&D with half the party good, half the party evil, or one person who was like, fuck everybody, we want to do this campaign, I'm making this character. All right, there's room for that kind of game, I think, where it's a little bit more combative. Everybody at the table is there with the understanding that they're gonna be trying to screw each other over and mess up the plans of the party, and that the big bad evil is gonna be one of the people in the party or something.
Exactly.
I think there's room for that, but yeah, like it's very important that everybody's on the same page still, because you can, those imaginary conflicts and slights can become real conflicts and slights very quickly.
Very much so. I feel like that is before you get started, that's like a pre-session zero sort of conversation. Put everybody on the same page. Let everybody have an understanding of what they're okay with, what they'd like to do, and what is tolerable. Because you've got a spectrum of the player versus player conflict, whereas on one side, pranking and playing and sort of a little, conflict or whatever. On the other side is straight up PvP.
Right.
And in my book, I'm okay with the spectrum so long as it fits thematically. Like, if it makes sense, if it feels good, not just to say, hey, I want to kill this guy because I don't like him, that doesn't make sense. You know, I mean,
rogue, so I'm gonna steal everybody's loot.
yeah, it
No,
does.
oh,
That
well,
just
I'm gonna kill
doesn't
you 'cause
work
I'm a
for me.
barbarian. Like, well. But if there's real conflict and strife that leads to fight, and then obviously everybody, both people are interested in pursuing that shit. Otherwise, if you got two people who are actually like have some real life conflict that they're acting out in the middle of your D&D game, that's usually not a fun situation for anyone. So yeah, I think that's the thing. It's just if everybody's on the same page, I don't think there's a wrong answer personally.
Everybody just needs to know where they stand before you get started. You don't want to find out, you know, a couple months down the road, however many 8 sessions down the road, that, oh yeah, this guy over here is going to be doing bad things,
Like,
and you're not prepared. You're not prepared for that. There's no wrong direction if everybody's on the same page.
Right.
Buy some dice. 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 Buy some dice.
How important is finding out, you know, how much your DM's gonna rely like rules as written versus how often they're gonna go rule of cool? How would you even go about getting that information from your DM? I guess.
I think that's one thing that a DM needs to be very open about. That's one of the holes you can dig yourself, that if you're not careful. If you want to run everything rules as written, by all means do it. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you have to understand that if you don't actually know all of the rules, and you have to look everything up, that's where you bog it down.
Yep.
Whereas if you can at least have the understanding to where, hey, if a question comes up, is it okay to just decide an answer now and then make a point to look it up later? The main thing is you need to know.
I say
Yeah.
all the time. I say, we'll go with this, and next time we'll make sure we get it right. Look it up after the session so you don't pull the brakes. Or is it more important that get it right, you know, the first time?
That's one of the things you need to be upfront about, because there's no wrong way to do it. I would say the only sort of wrong way is if you're not consistent. If you're going to do it one way, you always do it that way. Whether it's rules as written, whether it's rule of cool, whether it's a combination. When you make a decision, that's across the board. That's for the NPCs, that's for the players, that's for everyone.
Because I think that's gonna turn off a lot of players, and it bugs me sometimes if I feel like if we're in initiative order, you have to everything goes straight by the description. But in this, you know, if not, then you know it's more of a handbook or whatever. Things along those lines. You can find people frustrated with those kind of differences pretty easily, I think.
Attention! If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with lycanthropy, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Lycanthropy is a rare, uncontrolled animalis transformation linked with monster bite exposure. Exposure to monster bites in the mercenary, adventuring, questing, or mortuary industries may put you at risk. Please don't wait. Raven 1-800-99-RAR-RNG for a free legal consultation and a financial information scroll. Lycanthropy patients send a Raven now. 1-800-RAR-RNG.
I guess just to start, like, what are some of the big distinctions? I guess there. What are some of those big different types of ways to play, things to look for people who wouldn't necessarily know to ask, or you know, what questions and stuff along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. That's not exactly something that a lot of people actually put a lot of thought into before you decide to join a game, is certain aspects of the gameplay. Some of these things are rarely thought of beforehand until you get into the game. You realize, hey, I wish we could do, X, and some of those things that don't come up a whole lot are things like tactical style combat versus, a more simplified version, or even large scale combat where it's not, your party versus another group or another party, but instead it may be a battlefield with, hundreds of players, not necessarily players, but hundreds of actual NPCs, along with the players performing, whatever it is that you have to accomplish. Large scale combat is something that is fun when done properly. You have to think about things like espionage, covert operations,
Right.
sort of spy type stuff, which is also I feel like that's a little bit trickier to do, but it's also fun if it can be pulled off properly. Puzzles, some people
Yeah.
are really into puzzles. Some people really hate puzzles.
Yeah. Tons of people puzzles are a huge part of the game, but I think there are certain types of puzzles that don't maybe translate as well to certain D&D groups. Like, yeah, if you've got some substitution cipher you're expecting them to write down and crack, there are parties that are going to be all about that, and there are parties that are going to look at you like, why can't I just roll a skill check or something to get out of this? Like, come on.
A couple of the other things that I like to include: exploration.
Yeah.
Now, exploration is not something that I've personally done a lot of. I know some people that have a lot of fun with it, but as a DM, it's not something that I've delved too deeply into. But that's one of those things that you want to ask. If that's something that you really like doing, then think about it.
When you say exploration, I guess, do you mean sort of like the players are looking at a world map that's kind of fogged over and they're slowly revealing chunks of it? Are you talking about like regular pathfinding stuff with your ranger, or I guess, because I hear that talked about, but like you're saying, I don't feel that I've necessarily really ever gotten into that, because I usually have my campaigns in a pretty developed part of the setting that I'm in, or as much as anything is in the high fantasy setting anyway.
So I suppose what I mean by like exploration is generally if your party's going somewhere perhaps that's not exactly fully mapped. My campaign, my players are currently, everything's mapped out. You know where all the towns are,
Right.
you know where the roads are, you know where everything's at. There are places you can go, however, that are uninhabited. And that's where the exploration would come in, because nobody has mapped any of this stuff out. So you're basically, your players want to go delve off into this jungle or this area, and they don't know, you don't know what's there. So that's where the whole grid by grid exploration, comes into play. The survival checks, the navigation checks, what have you.
Some overmap kind of, Final Fantasy VII situation or something.
Exactly. When it comes to the specific gameplay styles like we're talking about, obviously you need to know what it is you want to get into. And a lot of these things, 5e is very generic feeling, I guess, not in a bad way, but where it sort of hands the reins over to the DM. You can do a lot of this stuff. You need to know what it is you want to do, because a lot of it's not actually in the books,
Right. It's like those
crafting
derby car kits,
Oh yeah,
They
exactly.
give you all the parts. You can make a really cool car, or you can send a block of wood down the track.
Look, no, Sam. All right, fine, Captain. I promise. No, I'm taking this very seriously. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be great. Don't worry. Right here, under the authority of the king, with an announcement, with the intention of serving the public, by the order of the king. I have been instructed to inform you that a small community of goblin refugees from the east have been permitted to live within the borders of the kingdom in compliance with the Green Ear Treaty signed 50 years ago. Which I gotta say, I looked into that and I just want to applaud the stunningly progressive language I found in there. We were only referred to as the murderous little green beasts 7 different times. Great job, everyone. Really, I'm just impressed. It continues. There is no cause for alarm, as the king and his court will be taking every precaution to keep you, your family, and your property safe during this trying time. Yes, because the goblins, that's... you gotta... Yeah, that's what you gotta worry about. No, definitely, that's it.
So you did mention theater of the mind versus always having maps out, and that's another thing. Not every DM is either willing or able to do a full theater of the mind combat system, and not every player is going to be okay with that. Some people want to see the actual layout. They want to see the images. They want to see the map. They want to see the distance. They want it all, particularly plotted, which is not a bad thing. You do need to know beforehand whether your DM is going to be doing that or not.
As a DM, I rarely map unless it's combat, but frequently combat's just a grid so that everybody knows how far away they are from everything. Though for me, because it's just easier to keep everything straight, I think. As a player, I find it very difficult to, especially with the way combat and most of the abilities are structured in D&D, it's pretty hard to feel like I'm keeping track of exactly what all's happening and going on, and how close am I to this person in relation to this person, and stuff like that can matter pretty quickly sometimes, and depending on your campaign. But there are ways to run combat that totally don't rely on those kind of specific distinctions. You can kind of just do the bands, range bands of combat or something that they've introduced into these other systems that take away the specific, what square am I questions. And yeah, that's a big difference in play, and how the spells and abilities your characters have translate into what you can kind of do during the combat, or during outside of combat, stuff like that.
And we're back! Hello, everybody. That was our break. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We are going to rejoin our friends after a failed attempt to train a wounded giant Terragar, or giant desert tortoise, in order to ride it. Didn't work very well. So, yeah. They have now awoken, and they are... after taking a long rest, it is night, or the very beginning of night, so nightfall, when the desert cools down enough to be able to travel in without having to wear protective bandages and slightly sizzling. So, yeah, like I said, you are in the ancient city of Quamar, which is a maze of these enormous black crystal towers that are slowly turning to stone from the ground up. Some of them, the entire tips are still glass, and others, the tips have almost been completely closed up and only a little bit is showing, gleaming in the moonlight as you exit the temple. You can see the ditch that the Terragar has made is leading up to the north through the spires, but other than that, there are no tracks. Your tracks have long since disappeared as you got to the temple a day and a half ago.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think what our best next
like way to start venturing through this is, but I mean, aside from just retracing our steps, I don't really think that I've got a much better strat.
I have always heard that if you're in a maze and you always turn left, you will eventually make your way out of the maze.
I'm pretty sure it's right.
No, I'm certain it's left.
I don't know if any of that works. It sounds like a wives' tale.
Well, I'll tell you what doesn't work. Feeding all of my perfectly good tea to a giant turtle to try
Well,
and teach
you
it to let us
say-
ride on its back.
You
That
say
doesn't work very
perfectly
well,
good.
Jalaal.
You say perfectly good as if it's actually good. I mean, it was like usable, if that's what you mean, but it kind
If
of
you
tastes.
ask the person that I purchased it from, it was so good. It was so usable that it was he puts out his hand and counts. That bag was probably about 54 gold.
Well, did they say it would float like my ladder does? Because it sounds like a scam to me, just like the ladder does.
No, it they said it would taste good, and it tastes very good. So that's where I'm at with that.
Hey, Andy, you might need a doctor. But regardless, I thought it was a good idea. Anyway,
Do you want, and Surtook's probably just like standing a couple strides away with them, or do we, like, I mean, start this maze production here? I'm a little, like, worried about making our way through this. It's going to be a pain in the ass, I guess.
well, you're
Well,
our
if the
world-renowned
turtle
tracker.
doesn't make its way back across itself, then it knows its way out, and we could maybe just follow it.
That's probably like a pretty solid.
I say we just follow it
logic.
until it doubles down on itself, and then we'll realize that it's lost too. But
It's better than like, I mean, I'm all right with that. And then I guess if we can get out to the edge of the city, wherever it goes, then like, we can go from there at least. Makes sense. Like, yeah,
So
Surt will do his best to try to find, the trail.
It's very easy right now to follow, especially in the moonlight, as the contrast of where the Terragar has drug its body in the night is very dark, contrasting the very white upper part of the sand. It is heading. The trail goes north. That's where you guys lost it as it slid off. And the thing is, the trail is wide too. It's like 10 men could walk abreast on the ditch that this thing is made. And you also see that it's the plate underneath its body does a good job of grinding up the stones too that it passes over, so that they are more like gravel rather than these obsidian blades. So it's pretty easy going. For the most part, though, the trail is not straight north. It does weave between these spires, but it does not necessarily snake its way out. But there is a point where it does begin to turn towards the Transcendent Wastes themselves, so towards the east. And this goes for quite some time. You guys see off maybe 30 feet away from this trail, a dark shape seems to stand up kind of all of a sudden. It is a humanoid. It is standing about 12 feet tall. And it stands, and you can see its dark shape move. And then all of a sudden lights come on. And they're floodlights that blanket the area in a bright, almost day-like light. It is, you can kind of see it through the glare, but it does seem to be some kind of construct. You hear a deep voice coming from inside of it. Where are you going?
this is one of those riddles. We have to tell it something like
to win the
to
whistle.
the herbalist.
But
will
like,
show
we're
us the
not
way.
going to the herbalist. Oh,
You see it kind of move forward a little bit and regard you. Again, the floodlights make it almost impossible to make out its features. But again, it says, I see. I don't get very many visitors. Hello.
Oh, no. This is like
Who-
the beginning of Fallout New Vegas when you
Who
meet
are
that
you?
robot with the one tire.
Is my arm glowing?
It is, no, it is not glowing.
Okay.
It says, my name is Wanderer Gabriel. Nice to meet you.
It is good to meet you, Wanderer Gabriel.
It
Hi there,
dims
Gabriel.
its lights slightly, and a set of what look like red LEDs alight behind its plate-like armor. It looks like a suit of armor that has been stuffed with clockwork mechanics and then stretched out. The arms and legs are very long, gangly proportions compared to its chest piece and head, which are relatively human-sized, but the long limbs make it 12 feet tall. It has a very large sword on its back as well, in a sheath. Everything about it is made of metal, however, the sword and the sheath itself. Right now, its hands are on its hips, almost in a accusatory or superhero stance.
Jalaal is beside himself interested in this thing.
Okay.
He's looking down at his arm, back up to it, back down at his arm.
are you a metal man?
It says, ha 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 ha. Yes, I am made of metal. Ting ting ting.
What is your story? What are you doing out here?
It kind of slumps its shoulders, and you hear a sad noise coming from inside of it, and says, alas, I do not know. I have recently been reawoken. I am a wanderer, after all.
Well, it's great to meet you. I'm Arlon.
Arlon.
Yes, and these are my friends Jalaal and Surtook.
Jalaal. Surtook. I am Wanderer Gabriel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Jalal's gonna walk up to him
Okay.
with an outstretched construct arm for a handshake.
He grasps your hand and shakes it. He is very strong. You can feel the strength behind the handshake. It regards the hand that is your shake that you have offered, and says, "Interesting. You are also made of metal. At least that part of you."
Yeah, it is. I assume it's pretty similar to you. You
Perhaps.
wouldn't happen to be a red elf, would you?
Oh, no. I am not the ones beneath the plate.
Like a dinner plate, or
No, the shelf, the continental shelf that the meteor has risen.
looks back to you two.
That seems like a thing that is both real and that I understand. What, like, do you remember, I guess?
I know my function and how the process works. I am newly awakened, which means that sometime recently I had lived to be 100 years of age and then was reset, as is my function.
By who?
Myself. Every 100 years, my personality is wiped, and then I am recreated. This
You know,
happened recently. I would say something about 30 suns ago. So I am still new to this.
you don't remember who like made you originally, do you?
I know that I am older than this desert. At least my body. He goes ting ting. It's made of metal.
Oh, yeah,
I want
it's-
to do the
no.
ting ting too.
I
Oh, yeah.
felt that.
Checks out. He's mental.
Huh.
This is
Um,
extraordinary. Would you know your way out of this maze with all of the wandering that you do?
I do. I know the way out. I have been there many times, though I have not wanted to leave this spire field.
What keeps
What?
you here?
Well, you see, I traveled out to that area and I was about to explore to see what the world had to offer. And there was some kind of enormous creature that rose from the sand, swallowed something, and then dived back down underneath it. I decided that I did not want to see the rest of the world if it was filled with such things.
God, this guy's fucking relatable. Wow.
I like this guy.
Wait, were you the one who injured it?
He's talking about the sandworm you guys
I
killed.
think, yeah, that sounds like a sound.
Oh yeah, I killed one of those.
You did. You punched it right in the face.
Yeah, I hit it so hard it kind of imploded its face. in.
What do you mean by killed?
Oh, well, you see, like,
Actually,
like-
Jalaal,
oh yeah.
we put it to sleep.
No, I remember
No,
killing
nope.
it. Like it's
Jalaal, we put it to sleep. All right.
I am not sure I understand what sleep is either.
Well, that's an
Right.
okay one for you to understand.
Do
Sleeping
you, like,
is.
recharge or
you-
anything? Sorry.
Do you have any sort of dormant state where you don't
I do.
move?
Once every 100 years, my memory
Okay.
is wiped and I am reborn.
Right, that thing. That
So
could
I am
be
still
about the.
pretty new to this.
That's yes, I see. That could be about the closest parallel to sleep that I could associate to you.
Do you sleep?
We sleep every day.
It kind of
Like,
is taken aback.
remember stuff
we remember
from one
from the
time to the
days, yes.
next. Every sun, but like, I'll connect the suns together. It's sort of like between your 100
I would
years.
like to remember what happens after I sleep. Or what happened before I went to sleep.
I would suggest keeping a journal.
What do you
Actually,
mean
that's
by
pretty good.
a journal?
Do you understand written language?
Yes, I do. I have seen writing a couple of times while traveling through the Spire Field. It
A
is
journal is like a portable writing that you keep a track of the things that you did during your travels, and then you can read them when you wake up to
I
remind
see.
yourself.
Do you read, like, could you read the things that you saw?
By read, you mean take information from the symbols presented on the material.
I think so, yeah.
Then yes,
As I understand the process.
I was able to understand the symbology used and draw meaning out of it that I could draw in parallel connection to spoken words.
That was good, right? That's the one that means he knows what they say.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the one.
Not. Okay.
Um, this is great. This is really interesting. Are you interested in seeing the rest of the world? If you have somebody, as a group of people to help you travel?
I think so, yes. As long as I am not devoured by one of those giant monsters that live under the sand.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll put them back to sleep. Like I'll tuck them in at night and I'll give them a little kiss on the forehead. They'll be right back to sleep in no time with me around.
When does the monster awaken again, and does it remember the past?
Well, when I put things to sleep, they have a really long nap, probably infinity time, like all of it, all time.
Depends. Like, that's a pretty I mean, who's to say, right? Like, when you wake up, what
This
happens?
is getting awfully metaphysical for our
Right.
first date.
I think my nose and my ears are bleeding right now. I don't really.
Sleep's like, you know, weird thing. It's hard to explain, especially to someone who's not familiar with the concept. That's like one of those base questions, you know, people have been asking themselves for like a long time. He kind of looks off. Obviously, we're not really talking about sleep anymore. What? Sorry. Yeah, no, I didn't die.
No,
Would you like to know how to leave the Field of Spires? Are you here for some purpose?
No, we were just exploring, right? We got lost and we found our way here.
Exploration, the art of traveling through a location that you otherwise have no knowledge in order to uncover more information.
All right, so like I like you, and I think you're pretty stand-up guy or thing.
My name is Wanderer Caleb.
Yeah,
Gabriel.
Stand-up Wanderer.
that was Garrett.
Yes, we would like to find our way out.
Right, yeah.
I can lead you. I have been out of the Field of Spires many times.
We can get you to like more interesting places safely. I'm fairly comfortable, you know, once we get out of this immediate vicinity.
Are there
I
more
feel like
words or journals?
I think like, you know, out there in the world as a whole. Is that what you're asking?
Then I would
Because,
like
yes.
to see them. So
There are
yes,
definitely books.
I think Arlon here could probably help you write your
There's
little journal.
probably even work for you to do and more stuff for you to uncover and learn. And we can help you with that.
What is
We kind
work?
of wander.
Oh, just essentially doing tasks in order to further our goals and also further your goal.
I see. I have this tool on my back. He unsheaths the sword. I am not sure what exactly its purpose is for. It is very dangerous. I have used it to wound an animal.
Uh-oh.
Yes, that thing, that's a very dangerous item that should only be used in a last resort scenario that threatens your permanent sleep.
I see. He sheaths the weapon again. Thank you for this information. You have
If
been...
you stick with us, we can tell you when like to use that, when it's like a proper situation for that tool.
That
Right,
would be
or
very
you
useful.
can lose that thing entirely and use, you know, what the gods gave you. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, I cannot. There is a... He stops for a second.
Someone has to put a gold piece in, I think.
Yeah, it's like one of those.
He starts looking
machines.
around for a slot.
There's a clanking sound and then a... And the thing kind of shudders a little bit and says... An effect that happens when I drop this tool. Watch. It lets go and then steps away, and then the sword and then snaps back into his hand.
Huh.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
It seems I cannot drop this, but I can let go, provided that it goes into this sheath on my back.
well, I'm saying like when it's on the sheath or when it's in the sheath, you can like use these things and wow, and he just like pretends to punch stuff.
He puts the sword away and then does some punches himself. I see. What do you call this?
I call it trash can hitting, but a lot of people would normally just call it punching.
Interesting. I will refer to it by both terms.
Good.
just what I wanted.
That sounds really great.
Shall we leave the Field of Spires?
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
No time like the present.
How much can you like carry on like with you?
Quite
Kind
a
of, like,
bit.
Eyes up the big bag of
I
loot
am
that
very strong.
Jalal has.
Oh, you've got
Isn't
the
it on
Hyatt
the-
Lizard.
isn't
Yeah,
it
you
on
got the
the
Hyatt Lizard. Yep.
Yeah,
You gotta
I
name
guess
him.
it's you know, one day.
One day.
One day.
Radisson.
Radisson.
'Cause,
Rad for
it's the
short.
Hyatt. Anyway. No, the I guess I don't know. Yeah, if he's not carrying it anymore, yeah. If we have that all, it's all if the Hyatt Lizard can handle all 500 of it, then
The large wanderer turns and begins heading out. It's still speaking as it's moving. It says, I noticed that you were following the track of that wild animal that I wounded.
Oh, fuck. It was him.
I was pretty sure it sounded like that was the only. I mean, there aren't a lot of animals in this general area so much anymore. I mean, it's like a wasteland for the most part.
Well, you can't go around hurting wild animals. Like,
I apologize. I was only testing the tool to see what its use was.
you can't do that on anything that's breathing.
How many times did you hit it?
Only once.
Oh my god. He turns for a quick aside. So that's a lot.
Yeah, that thing.
I healed it 3 times, and I only healed like roughly a third of how much damage it had taken. I have a really bad feeling that this Gabriel here was sort of created to do a lot of bad destruction-y things.
He seems like an alright guy.
He seems like a stand-up guy.
He's also
it's
at
not
the
from
beginning of
Turtler.
his waking period. He learns, and out here he's going to learn how to kill everything.
Well, we could not maybe try and direct him toward less terrible things, so that he doesn't like destroy everything. Because you're right. I mean, yeah, you go through towns like a can opener or something if he was so inclined. He kind of like eyes up the metal giant over there. He's like, oh god.
Well, maybe we can get him to deal with our cat guy problem too.
Well, I don't want to train him to be evil. He's impressionable. This is like a baby.
I mean, it's like a 12-foot tall murder machine that doesn't understand things.
Murder machine, baby. Yeah. Well, I think as responsible adults, we should take him under our wing and make sure.
Then when I die, Brett will play him as a character.
Sick him on.
This is the metric that we choose our adventuring party with. It's how much we'd like to play that character.
It makes sense to me. And I think, like worst case scenario, he can pretty much we can sort of sick him on whatever problems confront us in the future.
The great reset switch.
It's just like a skeleton key. Only with murder.
All right, well, you're hired. And he puts out his hand.
I wouldn't do that.
It turns and shakes your hand. You can feel the power behind it, but it doesn't shatter you, obviously. He has very good control over his strength. But if he wanted to, he could rip your arm off of your body, no problem. It is, you travel for a few more hours. Gabriel is constantly asking questions about the outside world. Things like, what exactly are cities? How are people grouped together? How many people are live in cities? Like how many people exist in the outside world? He is very interested in everything that you guys have to say.
Oh, I have lots to say about Nara Vasar.
Well, you see, there's these things called taverns, and in those taverns, there's this thing called alcohol, and when you drink it, it makes all of the bad shit in your life disappear for a few hours. It's got drawbacks. Sometimes you wake up in weird places, and sometimes some clothing articles are missing, but you don't got to worry about that. Your clothes are built in.
Always naked.
Made of metal.
I enjoy your company, Arlon, Surtook, and Jalaal. You have a great humor quality about you.
Do you get funny? I guess you laugh and stuff. That's weird. Are you like a person or like a thing?
I am a wanderer. My name is Gabriel.
He nods.
Well, were you ever like Gabriel the tax attorney or like Gabriel the baker?
I'm sorry, Jalaal. I can only remember the last 30 days. so I do not remember if I was or was not what you call a baker.
Right. Still could be a tax accountant, though. We don't know.
Jury's still out on the tax. Yes.
That would be really nice. Get someone to shape our books up.
Well,
After
do you feel feelings? Like, do you like if do you, have you gotten hurt?
no,
Oh yeah. Do you like get pain? Is that a thing?
I do not know what that is. I have a definition on it, and it is a feeling of great discomfort. But I do not understand the terminology discomfort.
That's probably like a bit of a wild goose chase trying to find a definition of that
Yeah.
word that you'd be able to. Yeah,
You-
it isn't just similes of word or what. Yeah, like whatever.
What the
words
fuck's a
that you're not
simile?
synonyms. That's what I was trying to say.
Sir, we don't have any cinnamon.
That's what you think. It probably doesn't have any synonyms.
Belt of spices.
Just says yeah. Anyway.
After a few more hours of walking, you guys exit the Forest of Spires. The Wanderer has successfully led you out of this maze. He turned this way, turned that way, underneath this spire, over that one. And after a while, you make it out. He points and says, "This is the farthest I have been outside the place that I reawakened."
Where did you reawaken at?
Inside the Field of Spires.
Is that where you Well, I guess you wouldn't know. Huh.
Well,
That's interesting.
do you feel like you're getting weaker or something? Can you keep going?
I do not think I am capable of feeling this weakness, which is
Right.
a fatigue of the body.
It's my mistake. I understand.
I feel
Alright.
just the same as I did when I left.
All right. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass by the end of this travel, I think.
Which
So you're
way
gonna-
are we going? I do not know anywhere outside of the Field of Spires.
I think Arlen looks at
Surtook
Surtook.
nods, and he's going to throw his parasol in the air, spinning, and cast guidance.
Nice.
And hope that he can get a heading with it. And if it doesn't work, he's just, getting a heading from it by throwing his parasol.
I love it. An 8. Nice. All right.
Okay.
Pick one.
He will. I'll take the distance from deity.
Take minus
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Moving
yeah.
forward.
Minus
Okay.
one ongoing.
All right. So your umbrella goes up in the air, and instead of falling, it hovers and begins to spin. It spins and spins and spins before suddenly stopping, pointing north through the wasteland, or I suppose north.
Yeah, at a mock
Yeah,
like his
yeah.
idea, or like
Yep,
where
yep.
he's trying to head.
So yes, it points towards the great city of Macaw, somewhere off in the past the expanses and the wastes.
Right. Well, should be roughly that way. It wasn't magic. I knew because I'm an excellent tracker. He grabs up the floating parasol and probably starts walking off in that direction.
The Wanderer begins walking and says, "That was mysterious. Surtook, what did you do there exactly?"
All right. I can't lie to you, Gabriel.
You can lie to us, not Gabriel.
Yeah, I really don't mind lying. You kind of look so very but you're so innocent. It just feels awful. There was this old dead god that I trapped in this here parasol, and I kind of have magic now, and I made it tell us which way to go. By throwing it in the air.
I wish I had the ability to do magic, Surtook. I think that would be very useful.
It's pretty cool. You've got like, you're like 12 foot tall though. That's pretty cool too. Large sword as well. Also very cool.
Do you think so?
I do. It's quite interesting. You're like, striking figure as well. Quite cool.
Thank you, Surtook. I appreciate those words. All right, so we are going to have you guys roll partake a perilous journey, as you know which way you're headed. Surtook, you automatically succeed on 2 of those.
I'll do I guess the not quartermaster ones.
Right.
I can't remember.
Who wants to roll me a wisdom on quartermastering?
Pick me. Pick me.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna quartermaster.
Okay.
I will mask the quarter. 5.
A 5. All right, so you fail that roll. Unfortunately, Jalaal, you unwrap the rations and begin handing them out. Gabriel looks at you and goes, "That is interesting. May I try some of that?"
Yeah, of course. Here, give it a shot.
He takes grabs the rations that you hand him, intend on him taking only a day's worth. He grabs the entire bit, so your 5 days worth, and throws it into his body. There is a slight, and he says, "Interesting. I'm not sure that helped me any."
It didn't help me. That was all the food I had, Gabriel.
Interesting. And you need food daily in order to stay awake.
Yeah, or I'll fall into eternal sleep. Yeah, something around there.
Interesting. I am not sure I understand why some sleeps are not permanent.
We can talk about that on the road. For now, fuck. Arlen?
Arlen shakes his head a little bit, pulls out his rations, and breaks it up for the remainder of us.
All right.
He would like to break them in half, though,
Okay.
and go with a half day's ration.
Sure. I'll let you do that. You're going to be grumpy, but you're not going to take any minuses.
He hands out the rations. It's going to be a little bit of an uncomfortable journey, boys, but I think it's what we're going to need to get through. I think we can talk a lot about the sort of metaphysical things on our travels. I can explain a lot about what's happening beyond us.
I would like to hear such things, Arlen.
Do you know math?
To sermon him the entire time.
Oh my god.
So much sermon.
Jalaal finds little scraps of leather and he'll put them in his ears.
Gabriel is the most attentive and responsive student you've ever had, Arlen. Everything you say, he responds with insightful questions. He wants to know more. He is fascinated by every word that you're saying. He is really into this idea of Narvisar.
I feel so alive.
Jalal's just walking up front with Surt.
That is going to be the best pickup for the group I think we have ever gathered.
What?
Looks over, so shakes his head, and just like gives him a thumbs up and keeps walking.
You guys, on your first night, you make it 20 miles through the desert, which is pretty good time with a Hyatt lizard. But your master tracking Surtook allows you to find the best ways through. You are not out of the Elmuck wastes, but you are making good time. You stop and make camp somewhere in a large shallow valley between some very large hard rock dunes. You make some camp. Everyone reduce a day's rations or half. Yeah, you're Yeah, taken one
I'll
from.
just take it off of mine.
Yep.
Or all of mine.
Yep.
Surtook is definitely going to investigate the things that like do you get mad? And like, just like every
Right.
imaginable version of emotion, and like hungry and like sleepy, and like what happens when you eat stuff, the most inane, like ridiculous question. Do you poop?
Some of the things he needs clarification on, some of them he doesn't know, and others he answers in enthusiasm, yes or no. For the most of the emotions, he seems confused by it. He seems capable of feeling, but he doesn't know which feelings mean what. Nor does he know when he's like, how do you know if you're sad? Like what is that feeling? Each one of you comes up with kind of a different idea of what sad is, which kind of confuses him more. He doesn't get upset or frustrated. He is still bright and cheerful, but it does seem like he struggles with the concept of emotions. You also notice that twice while you're walking, he pauses for up to a minute in place before continuing on as if nothing happened.
No coin slot, right?
No coin
Sorry.
slot, no.
Yeah, what was up with all the pausing?
Do you like know about that bit where you like stop for a short period of time each day?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Or well, several times we've seen it here over the past passage of time.
Yeah, you would just stay. Hold on, and he pulls out the leather in his ears. Ooh. You would you would sometimes just like sit there and not do anything.
Interesting. I have no record of this in my memory.
Maybe it's like your daily sleeping.
Perhaps it could be. That
You
would
know.
be interesting. I would like that if that were the case, because then I could say I remember before and after my sleep.
Now, I do have a question about that.
Yes.
There has to be some level of memory that comes across from. You said you were older than the desert, so you know you've done this several times.
Yes.
Right, and you know it's 100-year cycle and stuff.
Yes.
And you kind of understand the concept behind it. What do you remember? What sort of things? Where does that come from?
The only things I remember seem to be instructions or explanations for my existence here and now. As in, I do not know why I was constructed, nor do I know the methods behind the reset. When I first reawakened, I told myself, in a way, what had just taken place. That is how I know. Some of these things I have told myself.
Okay. What is your goal? I mean, it's obvious you want to know as much as you can. What is your purpose?
It seems to be something to do with this tool on my back, though the fine details are lost. There seems to be some corruption or problems with how I store and retrieve memory.
I think that might be what those um those pauses were, maybe the manifestation of that problem.
Perhaps.
Now, that may not be a problem. The thing that's on your back is used to cause a great deal of damage and to cause great deals of pain. Um, if used wantonly, that's a word.
Searching.
Well, just tilts his head slightly.
Not found.
It would be what we would consider as evil, as a bad thing.
Well, it's not always a bad thing.
Right, I mean, you can stop a lot of pain with one of them too. I mean,
Right.
as far as like, or like fix a lot of problems in that way. I mean, ideally, there's like a
Right.
non-sword related solution, I guess. But
If
I
you're
mean,
created with one tool and it's to protect yourself, you're probably not being given a sword. You're probably given a shield. Or something that's better at that than a sword would be.
Well, I
mean,
don't
but
I don't know
he's
where you
like-
grow up or where you grew up, but The only way to protect yourself on any city streets or anywhere like that is going to be with a sword or a halberd or a bow or like a dagger, maybe two daggers.
So anyway, I think you were constructed to do bad things.
I mean, that's not required. You could be like a peacekeeper of some variety, or just like, you know, general like defensive army sort
Let's
of dude.
put the
or
pieces
whatever.
together, right? We found you in the Transcendent Wastes or near the Transcendent Wastes. You've got the red color theme going.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
he had red LEDs
glowing. Yeah, in the underneath the places of his armor. Yep.
And you're a construct. The Red Queen is known for using constructs.
Do you know anything about the Red Queen? Is there anything that you've told yourself about that?
There is some kind of great power that exists in the East that I am morally obliged to fight.
See, that's like a good sign, right?
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yes, fight as in combat or frustrate in efforts of one's enemy.
Yes, I understood the concept of the word fight. I just meant that was not what I expected.
Classic.
To fight against, not to fight with. That's good news.
That's like, yeah, that's reassuring. See, I told you, he's like a pretty good guy, it seems like.
Yeah.
But just normally when you create something to fight against the Red Queen, you don't make it red.
It might be
that whole
like the
color
only colors
scheme.
available for that sort of work.
Well, I mean, the red elf in this arm ain't exactly a good guy, but this thing has teal lights in it.
It could be something to do with the high iron content of this soil.
I don't think that's how lights work, sir.
I feel like if they have the possibility to put themselves inside of arms and legs and stuff, they probably understand the concept of different colored LEDs.
I want to like lick my thumb and like rub at one of his LEDs.
Uh-huh.
Does the red rub off?
No, it actually is very warm.
I would have loved it if that was actually the problem.
It's like red dust.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, like
yeah, it's nice. You know,
stains.
pretty
Yeah.
yellow blue color.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, well.
Well, that definitely opens up a whole nother can of worms, though.
I mean, you know, it's kind of like odd to say that just because it's red that it's like evil or whatever.
Well, sure. I mean, obviously, you should never try to judge a book by its cover, right?
What is evil, Arlon? You said that you believed I was built for evil things. I searched it in my memory banks, and the definition is confusing. It seems to rely on the definition of good, which also relies on the definition of evil.
It's a question of morals, which, to somebody who has no concept of what is right and wrong in this world at this point, you're going to have a hard time understanding.
The only morals that I seem to have been pre-programmed with is a moral obligation to fight the Red Queen.
Right. Now, the Red Queen would be considered evil. It means your enemy.
Yeah, goody two shoes Arlon over here is what you call good.
My enemy is evil.
Well, I mean, that's not like, right? I mean, that's sort of like a
In this
dangerous line
particular
of reasoning.
scenario, yes, it is.
Evil doesn't just mean like opposed to you, though, I suppose. It's usually like they're disregarding, you know, the like impact of their actions on others or something in order to gain their own sort of benefits or what have you. Right? He kind of looks around.
Essentially, yes. Again, it's has to do with what morals are locally, you know, globally.
Moral philosophy.
It's a big
discussion.
question. You're asking a very large question to answer right now. But we will go over that in our sermon tomorrow.
I very much look forward to that, Arlon.
Well,
There are a lot of competing theories.
He just looks at Surt for a second, tilts his head.
Well, I like sitting bars. Where do you think people talk about morality more?
I don't think I've really listened when we've been in the bars, though. I don't know.
Are you going to sleep when the sun comes up?
Yeah, but like a short one. Like we won't be asleep forever. This is like the calm, resting our bodies so when we wake up we're not exhausted or
I see.
hurt.
Would you like me to watch and make sure nothing attempts to disturb your sleep?
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think it sounds good. Just make sure it's nothing like a bug or
Well, okay, so do you have some way of like gauging the relative threat of something that's coming at you? Is there like some sort of system that allows you to tell if something is or is not like a deadly
I
threat?
have the ability to target things as enemies or target things as friends. I have you, Surtook, targeted as a friend.
Right. So this is going to be another one of those things where we have to like set our conditions for what is and is not like worth waking me up for.
I think
like
it's
a
going to be a
size
little bit
limit,
of a
please?
touch and go scenario, but in this area of the wilderness, what are the most dangerous creatures that you could, the things that you would like to be woken up for?
So like if you see something that's like larger than a bread box, and he does like a hand, dimension size, in or like maybe even smaller, but like there's a large group of them that amounts to a size greater than that, like in volume, that is heading like toward us. I think that's like worth waking us up. If you feel or hear any like rumblings in the sand, that is like causing any actual motion from like them sandworm guys.
or if you see
Definitely.
anyone like us, like a traveler.
Sure, yeah, any people within like a day's travel,
I see.
think is worth bringing attention to.
I will, just for added protection, so that just in case you make a bad call or something, I will set up a perimeter. I did roll a 6.
Okay.
-1 + 2 becomes a 7. And I will lose access to sanctuary for the day.
Right.
But, cast a sanctuary. He makes rounds and draws a circle in the sand, drawing runes at the 4 cardinal directions in the northeast, northwest, blah 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 blah. Dropping a bit of like gold dust or silver dust at each one. Standing in the center and pushing his staff into the ground and supporting it in the sand, and it sort of lights up the runes a little bit. If something
Fascinating.
enters here, I will be alerted. If anything enters with harmful intent, that will be a sort of safety net in case you determine something is not a threat that is.
I see.
But other than that, I think Surtook's descriptions are going to be about the best descriptions you're going to get of dangerous fauna in the area.
Larger than a bread box in size or volume, spread across many or a singular individual.
Thumbs up.
Jalal's already falling asleep.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
It's sort of disconcerting that he just sits there, all like still and staring. He's like laying down and kind of like.
Jalal turns away so we didn't have to look.
Yeah.
About 3 hours into the sleep, Surtook, you hear, Surtook, Surtook, Surtook,
Hi.
Surtook, Surtook.
Hello, Gabriel.
I have
What?
spotted other people.
Okay.
He points off in the
Are
distance.
they bigger than a bread box?
I believe so. Yes.
Nods and kind of slowly gets to his feet. Look out over at the area
he's looking at, I suppose.
You don't see anything.
Oh man, how far can you see?
Calculating. Right now, these individuals are 10 miles away.
Right, I guess I said within a day's travel. Are they heading this way?
Calculating. On their current trajectory, they will pass within half a mile of us.
Right. Okay. Wake me up when they're like, what, 2 miles out.
That will be in 2 hours.
He's like thumbs up as he's already like walking back towards where he was going to sleep and just heavily thumping over into the sand again.
2 hours later, Surtook.
Gets up and now he's probably gonna like poke at Arlon and then Jalaal with his bow as he's walking over.
The people are within half a mile of this camp.
That's I said 2 for starters. Secondly, how many are there? Also, hi, there's friends, hopefully. Potential friends.
There are 5 people. They are riding 1 lizard apiece.
Hmm.
Do they look like us, or do they look like Surt, or do they look like me and Arlen?
They look like Surt's race.
Are they
Right.
red?
Yes, they are red in color. They are also wrapped very tightly in many layers of clothing. I assume to protect their skin from the sun as they are traveling during the day.
And the sand. Surtook kind of nods as he's like rubbing his face. When
Did the
you
orcs,
travel like pretty quick.
did the
Sorry.
orcs we battled earlier have a banner?
No, but they were definitely different orcs.
Oh, these are different orcs.
We
Yeah.
are in a different region.
Yeah, this
right
is the
now.
Almuck Wastes. You guys were in the Valley of the Giants.
We're a bit north and east, if I remember right. But
They have spotted me.
yeah, that's likely to be a thing.
They are turning this way.
Good deal. Hooray. Hey
That
guys.
is not good news.
Should I paint them as friends or enemies?
Let's hold off on that here for a moment. But like, lean toward enemy, I think. It's likely that's the case.
Painting them as enemies.
Not
he pulls
yet.
his sword out.
Hold on.
Arlen's like over there with him and like explaining why. Like, well, typically they're not gonna come toward you unless they're here for some kind of bad, evil purpose.
Right, but I want him to just like run out and meet them in the middle and start chopping Iron Lizards up or something. Also,
No.
Iron Lizards are nice guys. The mountain are friends. Try not to murder them if you can avoid it.
Actually, we could use some eye lizards.
Also that.
What do you mean by murder, Surtook?
When you like stick your tool in them.
Don't give him any wrong ideas. There's some other things though.
No, he totally understands exactly what
I will
Surtook-
not insert this tool into those people, but I will not paint them as friends. He sheaths
Oh,
the
right.
sword.
Not yet, anyway. We may
the,
give you like a different set of instructions here shortly.
The riders come up and one pulls they crest the dune that is overlooking the valley that you guys are in. He pulls his face mask down and you see that yes, he is a red orc, and he says, "What are you doing in the Olmec Wastes, and what is this?"
This is Gabriel, the Wanderer.
I am Gabriel, a wanderer. Nice to meet
Gabriel.
you.
Gives him a thumbs up.
Is that a construct of the Red Queen?
No, he said he wasn't.
The Red Queen is my mortal enemy. It
Yeah,
nod.
another,
The
like thumbs up and over
red
his
orc
shoulder.
nods slowly. He kind of motions to the packs on the Hyatt lizards. What are you carrying?
Supplies for our journey. We're trying to make it home.
Where are you coming from?
Archaeological expedition.
They look at one another kind of side-eyed. What sight?
I mean, that would be telling, right? Like, we kind of have to go back and continue to profit from there, right? We wouldn't want to, like, tip it.
Well, we haven't been able to profit yet, but eventually maybe.
Sure, right. I mean, yeah. But, like, we've got to continue
It was a
that
failed
expedition.
expedition looking for the sunken city of
Quamar.
Quamar.
Cert sighs and is like, oh gosh, oh man, I guess if
We
you
have
wanna
been
tell
out
him
here
kind of thing,
for
feigning.
2 weeks. We're almost out of food, and we're just trying to get home.
Do you have anything worth trading? We have supplies.
We've got some coin,
Yeah, do y'all use coin out of here?
a bit of what we brought with us. Otherwise, though, it's pretty, slim pickings.
We will take gold coin.
Arlen steps forward, and you have food? That's
We do.
what we're short on.
He makes clicking noises, and one of the Hyatt lizards come up, and he unstraps several packs. He says, "They are salt tack biscuits."
Oh, good.
Any port in a storm? Any winks?
5 gold pieces.
He gets the money out, holds it out for him.
How much are you giving him? It's
About
5
each
gold
then.
pieces per biscuit.
Per like daily ration.
Yeah, they're
So 25 for a whole chunk of 5
okay.
is how much you're. That's how. Okay.
Yeah.
So he'll buy 2 of them.
Okay, for 10 gold in total.
No, like two 5.
Oh, okay. So 50 gold.
So 50 gold.
Okay, so he throws the bag of biscuits into the sand in front of you, and picks up your gold, and nods, and then backs
Jalaal
away.
checks the bag.
It's full of what look like biscuits. Yeah,
Right.
they're not great looking, but they're definitely food. Yep. He nods slowly and puts the money on the lizard and hikes up and says, and puts his face mask up, but then says, I would like to offer you a warning about traveling with this thing. There are legends about such things that wander the wastes. The stories never end well.
How do you
Thank
mean?
you.
He makes another clicking motion, and the lizards take off down the dune away from you guys. Gabriel turns and says, "What do you think he meant by that?"
Well, it seems like he thinks you might put us all to sleep with your sword.
I
Or
wouldn't
maybe
do that.
Just leave some sort of horrible wake of destruction in your path. Surtook kind of sighs, like looking off as they're writing. But I'm sure that's not what's gonna happen.
No, I have you painted as friends, and you told me that I cannot stick my tool into things that are not painted as friends unless otherwise instructed to.
Yeah, that's a general rule that my grandpa taught me. You never stick your tool in friends. Like it's a bad business.
He nods. Your grandfather seems to be very wise.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well then, let us continue our journey once you have finished sleeping.
He
Right.
he grabs the biscuits, and he says a few words under his breath as he holds them, and attempts to cast Sanctify but fails.
Okay. There is a sputtering sound, and nothing happens.
Well,
Did the sermon
well.
not work to the biscuits?
Well, no, I think maybe this morning when I was torn from my bed to go heal a turtle that almost ate you.
You keep bringing this up. I
Sort
thought
of
it was
wore
a
me
good
out
idea.
a bit.
I wanted to help. He looked really nice. He wasn't as nice as he looked. You live and you learn.
I mean, I'm not like mean, but I still don't want you on my back.
That's fair. I understand, but you aren't the size of a building and can carry a populace on your back. So
That's also fair.
that's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
thank you
a
for waking
good.
us for that.
Yes.
Um,
You are welcome, Arlon.
it was also good that you do not paint them as enemies, because they did not end up being enemies.
No, were they friends?
They were neutral. They were
Right.
somewhere in between.
Can
Interesting.
you like make a third party or like category?
It
which
is
like,
unpainted, as if I have not made the decision yet.
I think that's where you should
perfect.
leave most folks until you know we kind of instruct you otherwise.
Thank
Or
you
until you're
for
able
that
to
instruction.
develop, you know, your own sense of those sort of things.
Like if someone comes up to you with their tool drawn, that's generally going to be an enemy. But if they don't have
see.
their tool drawn yet, they're probably neutral until you talk to.
And you conducted trade with them to get food.
Yeah,
Right.
I see.
you're not allowed to eat any more of the food. Also,
You let him eat food. Did you
Well-
like it? Are you like, does it make you less full? Do you need food?
No,
like,
it does not
continuing
seem
on in the
to.
random
But
question.
I do have the ability to process organic matter in my body.
Do you poop?
No,
That's
everything
important.
is reduced to a ash that is then ejected from some of the vents located throughout my chassis.
You kind of poop.
Very well.
He poops ash.
Anyway, that's like the coolest thing that I've learned today. He looks around at the rest of you.
Jalal's back in bed already.
Oh, right.
You just see like a subtle thumbs up.
All right, and with that, it is midnight. So that is where we'll end it. We will pick it up next week as you make your way across the Almuk Waste portion of the Misha Desert. This has been Old for Gold as put on by Irrational Radio. Thank you guys for stopping by and checking us out or watching this on YouTube. If you like, if you want to see more, we do this every Monday, streaming at 9:30. We also have another stream called Table 13 that we do on Thursdays at 10:30. We are beginning another stream, which is going to be with Untitled Space Game, right? I don't think we're titled
I
yet.
don't think we've hashed out.
Yeah, hosted by Kyle. I'm going to be in that. John's going to be in that, and Eric is going to be in that.
Starfinder game.
It's Starfinder, yeah. So we're getting.
And
a
we
whole
all
bunch of
play
stuff.
robots like Gabriel.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
I'm not a robot.
I'm gonna use that voice in that game. This is actually. A
I was
sneaky
pretty
I
sure
was
it
also
has.
going to
Yeah.
use that voice.
That's good. You guys are both gonna be Data.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So, we're gonna have that stream coming up soon. There's another stream that's gonna take off at the end of this month where we continue our podcast story with new characters, but in the same setting and a little bit further in the future after they have successfully founded their new nation of Flavortown. We're going to be setting some adventures in there. Otherwise, if you want to join our Discord and hang out with us, you can do so at a link below. We got a bunch of people that really like hanging out and talking about D&D stuff in there. Really great community. We love them. If you want to buy some merchandise, like this wonderful Rational Radio shirt, soft heather gray, you can pick it up at the website in our store, also linked down below. And if you really like us and want to throw us a few bucks so that we can make productions like these even awesomer, you just throw us a few bucks on our Patreon. You can find that link below as well. So again, thank you guys so much for taking part. We really appreciate the audience. Thank you and have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye now.
Said like that.